idea for the show.
I still don't know what the idea is.
It's about nothing.
Right.
Everybody's doing something. We'll do nothing.
They say, what's your show about? I say nothing.
There you go.
I think you may have something here.
Cross Coast Bias presents the League About Nothing podcast.
All right, everybody, welcome back. It's time to recap week 3. Another lovely week of NFL football, and the injuries that we did not have in the last couple weeks showed up in force this week. We had a league median this week of 184.21. We're going to get to all those matchups, but before we do that, Al, how are you?
Yeah, it wasn't a lovely week for everybody.
No, not for the players themselves in particular.
Or for me in particular.
Oh, come on. I just said we'd get to the matchups. You're trying to jump ahead. Unless you mean the fact that you didn't get any trades done this week, in which case we're going to get to that sooner.
Disappointing.
Well, before we get to trades, we got to get to waivers. So this was a massive week on the waiver wire.
Also disappointing. I was also second place in this.
This is true. There was one waiver claim of note. It was Mel getting Cam Akers for $18. Al, you had the second highest bid at 12. JMC was third at 11. Those were the only bids. So the rest of us decided, no, we're good on Cam Akers for now, but you guys fought it out anyways.
Is this the third season in a row that Cam Akers has not started the year on the Vikings, but has ended up playing for them in the first half of the year?
I told you,
3 years in a row, right?
Cam Akers plays backup running back for the half the teams in the league. And then Jeff Wilson plays backup running back for the other half of teams in the league. And
the short emergency list. It's just
exactly.
Cam Akers.
Cam Akers will be off the Vikings in a month, and he'll be back on, I don't know, pick your team.
Right. As soon as Aaron Jones is back from IR,
yeah,
they're going to need that practice squad. Sorry, Cam.
He'll go back to, what was it? Was he with the Saints last year too?
He's been on the Vikings, pretty sure the last 3 years. But he hasn't started the year on the Vikings in any of those seasons.
Right.
I know that for sure.
He's in there for now. They need some depth. I don't know. What did he even do this week? I didn't see anything of note, but
I think he handled a couple of carries late in the blowout when they were winning by 40 points.
I was going to say they were winning by enough that you'd think the backup running back would get some work.
Yeah.
All right. That's the only waiver claim of note. The only other waiver claim last Wednesday was Justin Watson, who Mel also got for $3, and he's now on IR.
Yeah, it didn't last long. I think he went on IR as soon as he picked him up.
I think that's correct. So slim pickings on the waiver wire. I guess that's just how it is when we have rosters this deep and we're all just so talented at fantasy.
Every week.
All right, so this week we had one trade. We're going in the wrong direction. Last week we had 2 to cover. This week it's only 1.
We're lucky we got 1. We just got it a few hours ago.
Yeah, it was today. So this was again a lot of activity from Mel here. He's filling in around the margins, shall we say? Because Cam Akers and he picked up in this trade Cavante Turpin and Parker Washington in a trade with Mr. Good News, and in return, Mr. Good News picked up Trey Sermon, who's apparently still alive, Davis Allen, and a 2026 4th-round pick attached to Ruggs' roster.
Well, we know Mr. Good News loves Davis Allen. This is a long-standing romance.
Didn't he keep trying to trade with you when you had Davis Allen?
I traded him Davis Allen eventually. I'm not sure how he ended up on Mel's team.
Well, it's probably because Davis Allen is bad and he was dropped. Just speculation.
That would be my guess as well. Yeah, these are 2 guys that you specifically called out last week in reviewing Mr. Good News' roster. You identified these 2 pieces as contributing pieces that Mr. Good News probably would not turn down a couple of late picks for, and there you go. Yep. You spoke it into existence.
Yeah, and Parker Washington coming off of a decent week. He actually, I think, led the team in receiving. So I don't know. Who knows what's going on with that offense? But if he's going to get work, then he's a useful fantasy piece.
Yeah, we'll get into the injuries here shortly, but both of these players look like they're going to have bigger roles, at least in the near future going forward. So smart depth pickups for Mel, kind of round out the back of the roster.
Yep. Since this is a pretty straightforward trade, I would say Mr. Good News in it again for the picks, not for the players, similar to the last ones we've talked about. We could probably move on pretty quick and get to those injuries that you talked about.
Yep.
As we said moments ago, it was a pretty busy week on the injury front, unfortunately for the NFL players and the fantasy players alike. I guess the good news is that there was not another uh, culling at the quarterback position this week. The only quarterback injury, I don't even know if we can say this is an injury of note, but it was Mac Jones re-aggravating his knee injury.
It'll be an injury of note if he can't play and Brock Purdy cannot play this week.
Yeah, exactly.
It will be an injury of note because the 49ers will be down to Adrian Martinez, I believe, at quarterback. That's not ideal for a team that's currently 3-0, but fighting hard through injuries as usual, as is the 49ers MO. Mac Jones got hurt late in the game, and he went out briefly, came back with a big brace, and managed to stay in the game and lead him down to the game-winning field goal right at the end there. But he was hobbling around quite a bit. It's the same knee, same injury that he had early in the preseason, and it seems like a re-aggravation. So no telling if he's going to be able to suit up this week. No telling if Brock Purdy is going to be able to play this week. He practiced a bit last week, but not good enough to be activated for the game. So we'll see if he's closer this week. They may need to rush him out there if Mac Jones can't go.
It could be interesting if Martinez does, in fact, get a chance to start.
Yep.
All right. What do you feel like? Running backs or wide receivers? Where do you want to go next?
Oh, they're both bad. Just go running back next.
All right. Running backs. Yep. Like you said, it was bad. Najee Harris, torn Achilles, done for the year.
Oh, brutal.
Yeah.
Back-to-back weeks.
It's never fun when a guy gets injured in that manner. The Achilles is like, I think almost because you can see the way it happens more than with the ACL. Like it's gets a worse reaction from me.
Yeah, it's unfortunately obvious when it happens.
Yeah.
You don't even, it's often no contact, just kind of step wrong and it's over.
And it usually looks like so innocuous when it happens too. And then all of a sudden he's just down on the ground. You're like, what happened?
Yeah, not great. Najee was on a 1-year kind of prove it deal with the Chargers already.
Yep.
And we know it takes generally more than a year to come back from Achilles. So he'll be scrounging around for offers next year going into his age 29 season next year. I think he's 28 this year, right?
I don't think he's that old. I think he's only like 26, isn't he?
No, he came in as an older prospect.
Was he? Okay.
So I think he's 28 now, which means he'll be 29. Oh, he'll be 29 by the time he's recovered.
27 right now.
Okay, 28 by the time he's recovered. Yeah. That's getting up there in running back age.
Yeah. But he has been productive every year, and he will get another opportunity, or opportunities plural. It's probably not as a lead guy. He'll be part of a committee or something. Tough luck for the Chargers. Tough luck for Najee. Tough luck for Judd losing another player. Was it the week or 2 weeks after he lost Joe Burrow? His team's dropping like flies right now. Other injuries at the running back position. James Conner, he hurt his ankle. Did he break? He's done for the season. It was a unpleasant injury. It was an ankle. I don't know exactly what it was, but this is another guy in that Najee Harris boat now.
We don't even know if it's an ankle. Gannon today said, Cardinals head coach Jonathan Gannon today said that it was a foot injury, not an ankle. Jeez. So whatever semantics he wants to go with, right. It was definitely ugly. It was hard to watch. And that one is going to put him out for the season. And again, another running back getting up there in years. He's just signed an extension recently, so he's got a little bit more security, but not enough that they can't move on from him with a small cap bid if they need to, if he's not recovered. So I think we're going to see Trey Benson just kind of waiting in the wings.
Yep. Big opportunity for him now.
And then we'll see. I assume he's not going to get 95% of the workload. So we'll see who else gets worked in here. Old friend Bam Knight is on the active roster. I was surprised to learn that he actually had made the roster.
I had no idea.
He hasn't played any snaps yet. He's been a healthy scratch, but
I liked him as a prospect.
Yeah, me as well. That's why I'm bringing him up, because I know that the both of us are fans of Bam Knight. So I look forward to this fad bidding war against you for Bam Knight of
Yep.
all players.
That's gonna be on the Justin Watson level of bidding right there.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Other running backs. Tyrone Tracy hurt his shoulder, did not return to the game. I don't know if they have been any more specific than just shoulder injury with that one.
Yeah, it's a dislocated shoulder. It looked a little bit like Worthy's, where he kind of got hit right on the top of the shoulder
Yeah.
and popped out. And again, like we said with Worthy, it's going to be multiple weeks. Maybe he can play with a harness if he avoids surgery, but it's difficult to not re-injure it, especially playing running back where you're either
You're gonna
handling the
take
ball
hits
and getting
there.
hit, or you're trying to block and taking hits on the shoulder constantly. It's going to be a difficult thing for them to manage probably the rest of the year.
And it's a little bit different because the receiver, you have to reach up to catch the ball, and running back, obviously you do want to be able to catch the ball as well, but it's a different range of motion for running backs than it is for wide receivers, but it's also a more violent position.
Right. It's a little bit easier for receivers to avoid contact. Running backs, you're getting hit on every play. This is why the running back shelf life is not long.
One last running back to mention, Samaje Perine hurt his wrist, didn't return to the game. It's a bit of a minor thing because Perine's, the backup there, but I felt we should note it anyways.
Yeah, the one thing this may impact is Chase Brown playing more third down snaps. Last year, he was playing all of the snaps, including third downs, and he was getting a lot of his value just on volume. And this year, early in the year, he wasn't playing any third down, and we saw he wasn't being very effective running the ball on early downs. So maybe this kind of keeps his fantasy value afloat a little bit if he can play some more third down snaps, because the offense did not look great without Joe Burrow this week.
No, it did not. Are you gonna say multiple picks for the defense? 2 touchdowns for the defense. You gonna say they didn't look good? I would say.
Right. What did Brown have? 10 carries for 3 yards or something?
Something like that. It was brutal.
Not great.
Nope,
Not
not great at all. At the wide receiver position, it was not a great week there either. You want to talk about re-aggravating that shoulder injury? Let's talk about CeeDee Lamb. He doesn't have the shoulder this year, but he just hurt his ankle. They said high ankle sprain, right?
Yep.
I'm pretty sure they've already said he's not going to play this week, right?
Yeah, he keeps saying he's going to play. Well, he did immediately after the game. I mean, he went back in the game for a play, and then he came back out. The thing about the high ankle, it's the same thing that we saw with J.J. McCarthy. Sometimes you can manage it when it immediately happens because it takes a day or two to really swell up and get worse. So I'm assuming that by today, they realize, okay, this is a high ankle sprain. He's going to be down. I would not be surprised if they put him on IR just to kind of force him to stay out for the amount of time that needs to recover.
Right.
Because high ankle is something that if you take the full time to recover, you're usually okay. If you try to rush back, it's something that could linger all year.
They've played this game with CeeDee Lamb before. Like I said, he had the shoulder injury. Was that last year or 2 years ago? I think it was last year.
He gets banged up a lot, and he kind of forces his way back on the field and plays through a lot of aggravations. So that's why I think they may force him for his own good.
Yeah, well, he was playing with the shoulder injury, and then every game, like it's impossible to avoid getting tackled on your shoulders. So he would take a hit on the shoulder and come out for a handful of plays and then come back in and take another hit. And every time it looked like he was picking himself up off the ground after a car crash. Yeah. So like you said, they'll probably try to save him from himself, and hopefully he can come back in the second half of the year and be his normal, incredible player self.
Anybody got any spare receivers? Please let me know. My IR spot is currently full.
Well, a few other IR spots are going to be full because CD wasn't the only wide receiver who got injured. Terry McLaurin hurt his quad, left the game, did not come back. And at the same time in that game, they had Debo on a snap count. So I think that they're hurting for wide receivers in Washington as well.
Yeah, they weren't very deep at wide receiver to begin with.
What are you talking about? They got Luke McCaffrey. Put him in. Scored a touchdown.
Quad injuries are tricky too. We saw Jalen Coker pick up a quad injury, and they put him on IR and said he's going to miss 4 to 6 weeks. So I know McLaurin's out getting second opinions right now, which is usually not a good sign.
No, that's not what you want to hear.
This could be a little more dire than current reporting. I guess we'll find out with practice reports this week.
Right. I mean, they're already down Daniels. So that entire offense is looking rough right now.
Yeah, for a team that was extremely lucky with injuries last year, they've gone the opposite way to start this year.
It's usually the way it goes, unfortunately. So we've reached our yearly Mike Evans hamstring injury.
Oh,
He's
brutal.
it's already been said that he's going to miss at least a couple weeks. It seems like he goes through this every year. It sucks.
Yeah, they're saying it's not as bad as the one he had last year that he missed, was it 3 or 4 games
I think that's about
towards the
right.
back half of the year? But
He didn't go on IR. I know that.
again, what is he now? 32, 33? Every year it gets harder to come back quicker from hamstring soft tissue injuries. Every year it takes that much longer.
He's 32. Apparently, I just think everyone's a year younger than they are.
Well, I think everyone's a year older, so I guess we're in the middle.
Right. Just average it out. Shout out to Flea, by the way, who drafted Mike Evans with the 605 in the startup draft and has had him on the team ever since.
Not a lot of original rostered players left in this league.
I meant to do it before the start of the season. I was going through all the rosters and writing down like how many players on each team were still like original players. And I got about halfway through the league and I got distracted and then I lost them. And then I found the notes like a couple days ago. So I'll go finish that at some point and I'll report back.
Yeah, there can't be more than a handful on each team.
No, there was a few teams without any. My team, I only have one left. That'd be Patrick Mahomes, who I took with the 101. So you better hope you nail that one. All right. Other wide receivers. Alec Pierce got a concussion. Copy paste every other concussion we've ever
said. Copy and paste.
Yeah. Every other concussion discussion we've ever had. And as you alluded to earlier, De'Ami Brown hurt his shoulder, did not return to the game.
Yeah, we don't know anything beyond that. Cohen had a presser today, didn't say anything about the injury, no update. So
no, all right.
We'll have to see what the practice reports say, if he's at practice or not.
Yep.
But if he's not there, that opens up a big role for Parker Washington because Hunter's been playing a lot more on defense than offense recently.
Yeah, and they've had some injuries on the defensive side of thing, which I think has been part of the reason for that as well.
Yeah, that was one of the big risks with Hunter being a two-way player. They may have wanted him to primarily contribute on offense, but they may need him to contribute on defense right now.
Yeah. Well, there's a long season ahead, and we'll see how his snaps develop on both sides of the ball because I don't think they've reached their final form of his utilization yet.
No, they're still figuring it out.
All right. We're going to go to tight end. This was a rough day at tight end as well. Colston Loveland hurt his hip. I think that was the beginning of the game. I saw he only played 6 snaps.
Yeah, I think he had 3 targets on the first 6 snaps and then hurt his hip. So who knows? He could have been in store for a big game. He had that one big catch.
Tough luck for the rookie. Hopefully it's not too serious. I looked for an update today. I didn't see anything.
No, I haven't seen an update either.
Michael Mayer had a head injury. I saw it listed as, I don't know if this was a concussion. I just saw it. Was it?
It was a concussion. Yeah, he got hurt making a tackle on a punt.
Yeah. So that was the first quarter. He left, didn't return. Concussion, copy paste. Speaking of concussions, Noah Fant also with a concussion, left the game, didn't come back, obviously. Hopefully these guys recover quickly and get back out there. One other tight end injury, Jatavian Sanders hurt his ankle, didn't return to the game. I was wondering why Tommy Tremble was getting work.
Yeah, another high ankle sprain, unfortunately. This one for Sanders.
Yeah.
And it's too bad because they're just struggling for targets outside of Tet. I mean, they like that was so bad last week that they didn't even play him this week. He had the phantom injury. Coker's still on IR.
Oh man.
Renfro is suddenly looking like a garbage man again. They're really struggling. Sanders could have been in line for a decent target share, but I guess now we're going to see Mitchell Evans and Tommy Tremble.
You got to wonder how they
not ideal.
No, you got to wonder how they feel now about having traded Thielen.
I mean, based on the way Thielen's played with the Vikings so far, I don't know that they would be missing very much.
No, that's true. Well, also, how much can we take away from the Vikings passing game after a few weeks of a backup and first 2 starts for not a rookie, but essentially a rookie.
Yeah, and they didn't need to throw the ball at all this week
Right?
because the
Yeah.
Bengals offense
Because
scored.
Browning was doing it for them.
Yeah, the Bengals gifted them several touchdowns.
Yeah, that they did. All right. That is thankfully it for the injuries, unless you had anything I forgot or
No, that's plenty.
yeah. Let's get over to the matchups. We had a league median score this week of 184.21. So down quite a bit from last week where we peaked at 209, but still
Right. Back to
ahead
week
of
one
week
levels.
one. Back to week one, unfortunately. All right. We had, let's see, our top scoring team this week. Pretty sure this is the first time I ever get to say this, was my team.
It was overdue. I mean, you're first in the league in points this season, so you were due.
Yeah. All right. So I had a 246.48. I played against Flinch, and Flinch had a 181.43. So Flinch, unfortunately, just underneath that median score, gets the 0-2 week. In this one, couple players over 30 points on my side of things. David Montgomery with a 30.9 and Jake Ferguson with a 31.95. Outside of that, 20-point games out of Puka Nakua, JSN, Luther Burden, and Tyquan Thornton, as we all expected.
He could have had more too. Just missed the second touchdown.
Yeah. Well, he would have had more, but not by a whole heck of a lot, because he got all those yards back on the next play. So he literally would have just had the 6 points from the touchdown, which obviously is more, but
Let's talk about some of these other guys farther down. Let's talk about Oronde Gadsden II.
Yeah, so he was active because Will Dissly was out injured, and he essentially took over tight end 1 duties this week. Conklin took a back seat.
So what they did was they activated, to replace Dissly, they had to bring in 2 other tight ends. They brought in Gadsden and Tucker Fisk, and Fisk played all of the blocking snaps, and Gadsden and Conklin essentially split almost right down the middle the passing work. They both played the same amount of plays, ran the same amount of routes. The only difference was Gadsden got all of the targets when he was out there, and Conklin didn't get any.
Ended up with 5 catches for 46 yards and 3 first downs line. So
right, he played well. He played very well.
That was his first game where he was active. So, pretty nice debut, I'd say.
Yeah, he was more productive in a handful of snaps than the other tight ends combined so far this season.
Yeah. Well, hopefully
very nice debut.
Yeah, very nice debut. Hopefully it's a sign of things to come and that they keep using him like that.
Yeah, it's tough to not use him in that role if he's going to be this productive compared to the other guys they've been trotting out there. Sorry, Big. I know you love Conklin.
I think you need to apologize to Mel. He's on Mel's team.
Yeah, but we know who the real supporter is.
You're gonna get in trouble for that one. Yeah, so it's nice to have depth at tight end because my big name guys didn't really have big weeks. Bowers had a 13.8, which is fine, but it's not what you want out of Bowers. And Warren didn't need to do anything because the Colts apparently are the greatest team in history.
Unbelievable. Yeah, but it was a good game for Gaz, and another big time performance from your rookie Luther Burden. He didn't really play any more snaps or run any more routes than he has been, but this week he connected on a couple of big plays.
Well, they ran the slowest returning flea flicker in history for him.
Did you like that play?
That toss, I watched that.
There's no way this play works. Yeah. No way.
I could have made a better toss back on that. I could have done a better job than Swift did on that play.
Yeah, credit Caleb Williams showing off the big arm because that play looked like it was doomed from the start.
Yeah. Well, if the toss back from Swift hadn't had a 3-second hang time, he probably wouldn't have had to throw it so far.
Oh, well, hey, it worked in the end.
Yeah. but
But
it's
yeah, he had another big catch later too. So it was a good game for Burden. Maybe
yep.
he'll earn some more snaps going forward. The offense hasn't exactly been lighting it up, so hard to take a guy that's this explosive off the field for Olamide Zacchaeus.
Uh, You say that, but I think most of the snaps that he's been getting haven't come out of Oz's snap share. I think they've come out of Moore's snap share, is what I read.
Yeah, interestingly, he's been playing when they run one receiver sets. It's Burden as the one receiver, which are usually run plays.
Yeah. Well,
So it's not great for fantasy, but
he's
yeah, if he
looked
can,
good blocking from what I've seen. I mean,
right.
he gives effort on it, so
Knowing Ben Johnson, I feel like he's making him earn it by making him block first. Sometimes guys like to put the rookies through their paces, and Ben Johnson's definitely one of those guys. He was with the Lions, so it would not
as
be
long as
shocking.
Burden does what he's supposed to do, though, I'm sure he will get in there more.
Yeah, he's talented enough to force his way onto the field. Plays like this are the reason why.
Yep.
It's good to see.
All right, let's shift over and take a look at Flinch's team. Flinch didn't have any guys over 30 points this week, but Lamar had 26, continuing his performance of, just being one of the best fantasy quarterbacks ever. Other guys over 20, Kyron Williams, George Pickens, and Dalton Kincaid. Continues the streak of every tight end I go against doing really well on Thursday night. Please stop. I don't like this.
It didn't matter this week. Got in a big hole early. You didn't have any problem coming back from that.
No. But bit of a tougher day. Oh, by the way, in case anyone was curious, I'm playing your team this week, and you have Arroyo who plays on Thursday night. So everyone, go bet on Arroyo Thursday night.
Well, the good news for you is he's currently injured, so he may not play this week.
Doesn't matter. He'll make a miraculous recovery. No, it was a good game for Kincaid, though, who was a little bit slower starting again this year.
Yeah, they got him involved. He cashed in on his targets, scored a touchdown. It's good to see. They need a receiving threat. They need him to be a piece of this offense because their receivers are mostly role players, not a lot of big time target performers there. So we'll see. This is definitely a role that they drafted him for.
So for Flinch, a couple of disappointing performances. Basically didn't get a lot out of his quarterback position outside of Lamar. Bo Nix and Aaron Rodgers both in that 13-point range. It's not what you hope for out of a guy like Bo Nix.
Yeah, it's been a very slow start to the year, fantasy-wise, for Bo Nix.
Yeah, and being dragged down with him or because of that, RJ Harvey, a rough week, 2 carries, 2 yards.
Yeah, he's just not getting the work. I mean, it's all going to Dobbins right now, and they're mixing in Beatty on some passing downs and 2-minute drills. So it's not a lot for Harvey to go around. But as we know with J.K. Dobbins, it's just a matter of time before he turns that backfield over and leaves on crutches.
Oh, come on. I like Dobbins.
I like him too. He's a good player when he's out there.
Yeah. So
Just, we know the history. He's been in the league for a long time now.
Right.
Every year's been exactly the same. He's productive when he's out there.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on Derrick Henry with 3 fumbles in 3 weeks?
It's just one of those things. I mean, he went it's like 680 touches for his last 3 fumbles, and then he's got 3 fumbles on 40 touches this year. So it's just one of those things. He's never really had a problem with fumbles. It's not something I expect to continue. Just kind of fluke stuff.
Yeah. Just strange to see that variance,
Right.
A good game for Brenton Strange. 6 catches, 61 yards.
Yeah, they need him because a bunch of their wide receivers are banged up
Right.
or playing on defense.
Or playing defense, yeah. All right. Let's move on. Our next highest scoring team was Big. Big put up a 232.48, and he absolutely demolished Al's team. Al put up only 231.62 points.
Oh my God. It's always
And,
nice to lose by less than a point on the last play of the last game of the week.
so I gave you false hope on
Fantasy.
this one. On Sunday night, after everything was finished, I took a couple minutes on my lunch break and I tallied up all the scores. And at the time, I looked at Big's team and Al's team, and I believe it was that you were down like 1.4 points or something like that. It was a super, super close matchup. And then we were watching it back and forth all game on Monday, where you had Goff and Gibbs going, and Big had Laporta and Bateman going. And I guess that last catch from Bateman put him just ahead of you.
Yeah. Where's your math now?
Well, to be fair, I didn't do any math on Monday night. I was just guessing. Interesting thing about this lineup, you're both over 230 points, but neither team had a player go over 30 points. So what that means is that all of your players on both teams here were in the double digits, and
A
most
lot of
them,
20 points.
yeah, most of them were around 20 points. For big side of things, Christian McCaffrey 25, Sutton 27, Nico 25, Bateman just over 20, and then these guys weren't over 20, but Kenneth Walker and Trey McBride both had over 19 points. On your side of things, Gibbs had a 27, Cam Scatabo had a almost 27, 26.8, Keenan Allen 22, Chris Olave 20, Hawkinson 21, Jordan Mason 24. Have we ever had a week where you had 3 running backs over 24 points before?
That's no way. There's impossible. I've had weeks where I didn't get 24 points combined from all my running backs. Many weeks.
The real takeaway here is that this was a big boy matchup where both teams had a lot of players score a lot of points, and you just got slightly unlucky.
Yeah. Thanks, Bateman.
Oh, man. This was a really fun matchup, though. The interesting thing is that neither one of your teams had a very high scoring quarterback. The highest scoring quarterback in the matchup was Baker Mayfield at 17.7. And the lowest of the starting, because you both started a few, was Jared Goff at 12.93.
Yeah, quarterbacks are overrated.
Sure. Why not?
Yeah, it was a heavyweight fight, basically. Just trading blows back and forth. A lot of 20-point performances. A lot of the people you expect on his roster, besides Bateman, of course, jerk. But it was nice to see Judkins in his first action as the starter. He 18 for 94 and a touchdown. You know, he had a really nice game and helped the Browns kind of grind out that win over Green Bay. Surprising upset. The passing game wasn't working, so
Yeah.
Judkins was really carrying the team.
And it did not take him long to just solidify control over that backfield there.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when the other players are not good.
A second good game out of Jalen Waddle for you, though. 17.65. Got a touchdown.
Yeah, that's why it was a good game. It was not a good game in reality. If you were watching this game on Thursday night, it was not fun to watch the Dolphins offense refuse to throw more than 5 yards down the field. But somehow Tyreek and Waddle both in our lineups with decent scores because they got the 2 touchdowns, even though they had a combined, 90 yards between the two of them.
Yeah, just under.
Not great.
Oh, I didn't mention Tyreek also 19 points. I mentioned Walker and McBride. That explains it. Jeez. Not a matchup. This was a fun one to watch. I was watching it very closely, obviously.
Yeah, it wasn't fun for me. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I had a great time. Let me tell you. Listen, I had to lose with the number 2 score last week. You lost with the number 3 score at least.
No, at least you lose by 1 point on the last game of the week. Let's move on to the next.
It's a fair point. All right. I'm sorry. I'm laughing at your pain.
Next matchup.
Next matchup. Our next highest scoring team was Rug's team. Rug put up a 227.04. And
finally got in the win column.
Yeah,
big
he
week.
needed this one. He beat Judd. Judd put up a 170.87. There was a few players over the 30-point threshold in this one. For Rug, Hunter Henry put up 37 even on 90 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jeez.
Yeah, Rugg had the highest scoring tight end of the week and the highest scoring receiver of the week.
Yeah, and the highest scoring receiver being, as everyone expected, Trey Tucker with the hat trick.
40, almost 45 points.
44.9 points. What a game. They were in catch up garbage time mode for, I don't know, three quarters in that game.
Yeah.
So good for Tucker. 145 yards, 3 touchdowns. Also had a carry for 4 yards. Why not, right?
Get him the ball.
On the other side of things, Judd had Mark Andrews finally decide that he wanted to play football this season. 32.6 points.
As soon as everyone gave up on him, there's the multiple touchdown Mark Andrews performance we were waiting for.
Yeah. Other players over 20 points. Omarion Hampton, 26.15. Nice game for him. Got involved in the passing game finally.
Yeah, this was the result of Najee being out on the other side of this matchup.
Right.
A lot more run for Hampton.
Yeah, and we'll see how much of that work he retains. Obviously, they can't run him into the ground. They've got to utilize other backs, but
I mean they can.
Sure.
Should they? Probably not.
No, that's what I mean.
Could.
I don't think they're going. It's interesting to me because he's a rookie, and every year we see the rookies do well, and then sort of, the rookie wall is a thing. They get to the end of the season. It's a longer season than they've ever played before. It's more games, and yeah, they're young, they're fresh legs and everything. But at the same time, if your body's not ready for it,
yeah, the NFL grind is a lot different than the college grind.
Very much so, and the Chargers are a team. They're leading the division right now. They're 3-0. This is a team that's going to want to look to the playoffs to have success. So when I say they can't run Hampton into the ground, like they really have to be aware of this.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how they replace Najee. When he first had the eye injury firework incident early in the offseason, they didn't really make a move to add any other backs, which made me think either they were very confident that Najee was going to be back on time, which he ended up being. He ended up being out there. Or they were very confident in the backs they had behind Hampton. But the fact that they didn't give anyone any work after Najee got hurt this week makes me think, well, maybe they will be in the market for another running back. We've seen a few trades already happen in the NFL. So could be another backup running back on the move.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's also just, we can pencil in Cam Akers for 3 weeks from now.
Right.
No, it's true that there have been running backs traded this year, both in the preseason and in the regular season. So it's possible that, a team who doesn't really have, anywhere to go this season would be interested in picking something up.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how they really feel about Hassan Haskins and Kamani Vidal, I guess.
Yeah, I think Harbaugh today in a press conference said that it was going to be Vidal, the next man up or something like that. So
well, he's the only other one on the roster, so
I
don't
guess
have
that
much
makes
of a
sense.
choice.
Yeah, they had Rocket Sanders in camp, and then he got onto the practice squad, and then he was signed by Cleveland off the practice squad. So
Browns poached him.
All right, other players in this matchup doing well. I usually make the cutoff 20 points, but Drake May had 19.97, so we're going to call that 20 for Rugg.
Rounding.
Patriots lost, but I don't think that was May's fault.
Yeah, that was all of the fumbles that they lost. They have 5 turnovers.
Ugly game.
Four lost fumbles. I mean, he contributed 2 of those turnovers, so he is partially to blame.
It's true. It's true. I have to imagine that the New England defense. I would imagine that the New England defense is furious with the New England offense right now.
Yeah, I mean, holding them to only 21 points when you have 5 turnovers is an impressive showing by the defense.
Yeah. They only gave up a few hundred yards of offense. Like it was 200 or some 200 and some odd yards. Like that's a good game by the defense.
Yeah. Well,
on Judd's side of the matchup, good games from James Cook, who continues his excellent performance this year.
Every week.
Garrett Wilson, who had almost 30 points at 28, and Amon-Ra St. Brown, who continues to just be one of the best receivers ever.
Yeah, his big time players had big time games this week. Got him close to the median.
Right.
Problem is he just doesn't have enough players. He's
Yeah.
just again, he's got zeros in his lineup. It's just not a deep enough roster to be competitive, and he's now dropped to 0-6.
Tough start for him. Lost Najee Harris this week as well. You got to imagine that he's either going to make some serious moves or start selling pieces soon.
I can only let this go for so long. There's already a big gap between the playoff hopefuls and the also rans. This gap is getting wider every week.
Yeah, we'll get to that one at the end. Then again, I'm looking at Judd's draft capital right now. He's got a first, a second, a third, two fourths in the upcoming draft. So it's not like he's missing picks. Some of those picks aren't his own; they're other players. But there's one in every round essentially. So does it really matter?
Yeah, he's got some ammunition to add, but can he add enough players to make it worthwhile?
Well, what I meant was not necessarily that he's got ammunition to add, but that he doesn't necessarily need to sell to be able to restock. Like he's not missing. A lot of the time, if a team isn't doing well and they're missing draft capital, well, that's when you need to sell. He could just say, well, this year isn't it, but I've got draft capital, like your standard 5 picks, and he's got 2/4 instead of a fifth. Like, yeah, it's your second instead of his second, but it's still a second round pick,
Yeah, and the key is he's got his own first, so he
That's
still controls his own destiny. If this thing continues going the wrong direction, he'll just get an early rookie pick.
Exactly. Anything you want to talk about here before we move on?
No, it's nice to see Rugg finally break through.
It was.
He's been so close the first 2 weeks where he had good performances over the median. He just had tough matchup luck, and this week he took it out on poor Judd.
Yeah,
beat him by almost 60 points.
Yeah, and he did it without Jaden Daniels as well, out injured.
Yep. Yeah, so he's looking like a playoff team right now.
That he is. Let's move on to our next matchup. Our next highest scoring team was Flea. Flea put up, this is a big gap here, let me tell you. Flea put up a 186.81, and Flea was up against JMC, who put up an 89.35. That gap right there is big. But the gap that I meant was from Rugg being was it 1, 2, 3, fourth highest scoring team to Flea at the fifth highest scoring team was a 40-point gap.
Yeah, there's a very clear tier of scoring teams this week.
Right. So Flea took down JMC. JMC not competitive this week, unfortunately for him. This is an interesting one. Flea had Jonathan Taylor put up a 33.55, and that was the only player on either side of this matchup over 20 points.
Yep. Yeah, she got the big Taylor spike, and then everything else was.
She had a bunch of other good scores, but nothing else over that 20-point margin.
Right. It was enough to just get over the median. We had several teams that were right around this 185-ish range, right around the median.
Yep. So the good ones for her, Sam Darnold, Matthew Stafford, both in the teens. Bijan Robinson, 18. Khalil Shakir, 16. Devontae Adams, 15. So a lot of these numbers are solid games, which is why she made it to, above the median. But there was nothing else really special in there. And she continues to patch it together by hook or by crook at the tight end position. Tommy Tremble, 5.6 points on the strength of 2 catches for 16 yards and 1 first down. And Josh Oliver, 1 catch, 1 reception, 12 yards, and a touchdown.
He has 1 target.
8.95 points that's worth.
It's pretty efficient for 1 target.
It's a 9-point target on a 12-yard catch. I don't.
That's our tight ends.
What are we doing here?
We're just giving points away to tight ends.
Just giving them away. All right. So a solid week for Flea. Puts her at 4-2. It was basically the same story that Rugg was in. She was 2-2 before this, had gotten a little bit unlucky, but this one, pushes her in the right direction.
Yeah, and on JMC's side, again, it's the same story we've had every week. Just not enough players right now. He's got a lot of young players. Some of them don't have real roles right now, but we are going to see one of them go into a starting role next week. His QB1 here with 0.3 points. Probably going to have more points than that next week.
God, I hope so.
Probably.
Yep. So Dart will be getting the start. They play against the Chargers this week, right?
Yep. Not an easy matchup.
Not an easy matchup, but it's better than the matchups coming up. Have you looked at the Giants' schedule?
Yeah, I know they have the Saints after that, and then it's not promising.
Then you play the Eagles twice in 3 weeks, and in between you get Denver. So have fun with that, Jackson.
Yeah, Chargers are a tough matchup too. I think the last couple of weeks they've played Geno.
Chargers are a tough matchup, but I think I'd rather play the Chargers defense than Eagles, Broncos, Eagles.
Yeah, Chargers held Geno and Knicks to like 150, 180 yards, and Geno had 3 picks. Not an easy matchup.
This was not the best week for the majority of JMC's lineup. Lone bright spot being Chigakonkwo. 5 catches on 6 targets, 66 yards. Gets him 16.85 points. Nothing really else to talk about here. HN was fine, same score, 16.85, but you expect that out of him.
Yeah, some of his big time lineup blocks, guys like Neighbors had a down week. Thanks, Russ. Actually, his worst week of his NFL career.
Right. They were paying a lot of defensive attention to Neighbors. They had guys bracketing him pretty much the whole day, which really should have meant that the rest of the Giants' passing offense had room to work, but it didn't function that way. We'll always remember that Russ era fondly for the 455-yard game.
Week 2.
Very much unfondly for throwing the ball away 3 times in 4 plays in the red zone.
And then
including on 4th down.
And then taking a quarterback draw on the other play. Not throwing it at all.
Bizarre decision. Like the first one, the intentional grounding, I'll forgive him for that one because he was obviously trying to throw it away and he just threw it too high. Throwing it away in that instance was fine because you did it to stop the clock. It was the other 3 subsequent plays that were the real egregious ones.
Yeah, they were all bad. And that's the reason that Jackson Dart is starting this week.
I don't even know if that's why. I think it's more the pressure that Dayball's feeling than
right. If they didn't go to Jackson Dart, then they would have probably burned down the Brian Daboll's offices and carried him out.
Yep. Well, let's see how he does. Right. We'll all be watching that one, I'm sure. JMC and Big closest of all. Well, almost closest of all. I'm going to be watching it closest because I'm a Giants fan. These people are watching for fantasy. I'm watching because this is my real team that I'm rooting for here.
You don't have a choice.
No. And trust me, if I had one, we might not be here. All right. Our next highest scoring team was Mel's team. And this was a close one here because Mel only outscored Georgia Mike by 0.04. But Mel was playing against Mr. Good News this week. Mel put up a 184.23. He beat Mr. Good News, who put up a 116.09.
He did not have the lowest score of the week either.
No, that went to JMC this week. In this game, Mel had 3 players over 20 points. He had Geno, who put up a 27. AJ Brown, welcome to the 2025 season, put up a 25.9. And Josh Allen doing his usual Josh Allen thing, 24 points. So AJ Brown, all they needed was for the Eagles to be down 20 points and have no choice but to throw. Who knew? That's all it took. We could have been doing this all along. An okay week for Mel's team. He gets over the median. He gets the win. He stays unbeaten, but it wasn't a dominant performance, really.
Yeah, not like we've seen the last couple of weeks. This was definitely a down week. He had some matchup luck matching up with Mr. Good News and just got over the median. I mean, what was the median score this week?
Median this week, 184.21. This is the fascinating thing because I just said he outscored Georgia Mike by 0.04, and the median score is right in the middle, the 0.02 difference between them.
Right. Just got it.
I mean, either one of those guys could have easily had the good luck or the bad luck this week, and it just happened to go to Mel. A yard here and a yard there, and those two flip-flop. For Mel's team, solid performances from a lot of positions. The only single digit player in the lineup was Noah Fant in his second tight end spot, 9.85. Everybody else in double digits, but none of those really big boom performances. A couple of tens in there from Kelsey and Chase and Brees Hall really kind of dragged the overall down.
Yeah, most weeks this isn't going to be good enough, but this week it was. So he'll take his 2-0 and not complain.
And on the other side of things, Mr. Good News, 20-point day for Marcus Mariota. Obviously, exactly what Mr. Good News is, really hoping for is that his backup quarterbacks pop on his team.
Well, maybe you'll be able to trade him now that there's a proof of concept.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, quarterback's always in need.
We did see it last year with Mariota. I mean, he can play when called upon in this offense.
Yeah, he can scramble a little bit too, so he gives you that baseline. He ran for 40 yards in this one. That's for a backup that will at least make it so that you're playable most of the time.
Yeah, 40 yards and a touchdown.
Right. My favorite stat line of the day, Mr. Good News RB2 Amari DiMarcado with 0 points on 2 carries and 1 target.
All for combined 0 yards. 0 points.
And 0 points. So, Mel could have picked any of these backup running backs, but he chose the one that did nothing on actual work, which I appreciate. Right. Anything else here? Egbuka continues to look good. I guess we should have mentioned him in the injury stuff. He came out of the game and got his quad wrapped. He came back in though. Kept playing.
Yeah, they're going to need him because we know Evans is out and Godwin is still out. So it's going to be the Egbuka show here this week.
All right. Anything you want to talk about with these young guys on Mr. Good News' roster? Another interesting game out of Ward.
Yeah, it feels like he's progressing, even though the box score doesn't really reflect that. But I mean, he cut his sacks taken in half, so
every week.
They just continue to get blown out and get put in bad game scripts almost immediately every week, and they can't pass protect at all. So it's going to be a long year for the Titans.
Right.
I'm not sure that Callahan survives the season. He's already had to replace himself as play caller. So
that's usually a bad sign.
The next step is him being replaced as head coach.
Right. Oh man. Well, maybe they'll promote their offensive line coach. All right. Our next and I believe final matchup was our next highest scoring team, I should say, was Georgia Mike. Georgia Mike beat Criddle, and the score of this one was a tight one. Georgia Mike with a 184.19, Criddle with a 183.25. So unfortunately for both of these teams, they just miss out on that median score. And unfortunately for Criddle, he's literally a point away from going 2-0, and he goes 0-2 instead. That's a tough loss right there.
That's a rough week. I know I complained about my loss of less than 1 point, but this one probably hurts even more because it drops him now to 1-5, and he's starting to be in a really big hole here if he's trying to be a playoff team.
Yeah,
the difference between 3-2 and 1-5 feels monumental at this point.
It is a significant gap. Yeah. 30-point games in this one. We had a couple of quarterbacks. Georgia Mike had Caleb Williams with a 33.12, and Criddle had Jalen Hurts with a 31.04. Big quarterback matchup there.
Puts up a lot of points when he throws the ball.
Again, all it took was them being down 20 points. And all it took for Caleb was playing the Dallas Cowboys
defense. They give up 30 points to everybody.
Right. Nice to see both of these guys who have had not the best fantasy starts.
Yep. Nice bounce back weeks.
Show what they can do, especially for Hurts, who is, obviously considered a top 5 quarterback in fantasy. You expect bigger games than he's been giving you.
Yeah, he was much maligned the first couple of weeks, even though the Eagles kept winning. It wasn't paying the fantasy bills.
Yeah, 10 points last week. Does the win feel? I mean, obviously for Criddle, it feels better because he's an Eagles fan. But if you weren't an Eagles fan, small consolation there. Other players over 20 points in this one. Michael Pittman with a 22.3 for Georgia Mike. Ricky Pearsall with 24 points. And Devonta Smith with 23 points for Criddle. And obviously we said this one was super close. Both of these teams had, solid performances up and down the lineup here. Nothing spectacular, but good performances pretty much everywhere.
Yeah, this is what happens. Both these teams are right around the median, so expect about median scores everywhere, and that's pretty much what we got.
How do you feel about this Daniel Jones renaissance? Is renaissance the right word? Was he good enough before for this to be considered a renaissance?
Oh, well, I mean, he's better now than he ever was, as far as I can tell, because this is not the Daniel Jones that we watched many times with the Giants. I mean, this guy has been unafraid to attack middle of the field, down the field. This is not the dink and dunk, 4 yard per target Daniel Jones that we've seen. Some of that some of that A-rich aggression has rubbed off on Daniel Jones, that he can actually complete passes in the intermediate and short areas as well. So
before he had the neck injury, was that 2 or 3 years ago now? He did throw down the field more. So I wonder if this is just, being further removed from that and being able to do so more.
It's possible, but he definitely looks reformed.
He looks better doing it now. Don't get me wrong.
This looks like this is going to be this year's Sam Darnold.
I'm rooting for him. The Giants are dumb enough to,
Man, imagine how good the Giants would be if they had Daniel Jones.
No. All right. All right. The strength of Georgia Mike's team here continues to be Quentin Johnston and Rome Odunze. And the disappointment of his team continues to be Drake London, Ladd McConkey, and Jameson Williams, just like we all expected coming into the year,
right? Yeah, somehow something happened with Ladd and QJ, and they did like a body swap thing. And
I think it's
Freaky
just
Friday
Keenan.
stuff.
There's
some Freaky Friday stuff happening. Keenan body swapped them? I don't understand.
No, well, Keenan pushed everything like out a little bit. Like Ladd gets fewer of the targets that he was getting before because Keenan needs some of those. But QJ gets less defensive attention because now he's in that wide receiver 3 role. And also he appears to have learned a few things and how to catch. So
definitely working for the Chargers right now. Not so much for Ladd fantasy managers, but it's definitely working for the Chargers.
That it is. They look great. I'm happy with the way Herbert's playing.
Yeah, they're one of the pass heaviest teams in the NFL. Just what we all expected with Greg Roman running the offense.
Yeah, imagine trading Herbert away because you were nervous about that.
Only an idiot would do that.
Well, I mean, you could have gotten something back for it, like, Daniel Jones anyway.
Oof, I wish I had Daniel Jones right now.
For Criddle's team, Juwan Johnson continues to apparently just have evolved into one of the best tight ends in the league.
Keep saying every week he's out there for every snap for the first time in his career. They're using him as a full-time tight end, a full-time role. And if you're out there and they're throwing a lot because they're not good and they're always losing, he's going to be productive. I don't see this changing.
No, it's good for him, honestly. How do you feel about CJ Stroud right now?
Not great. I would be concerned if I was the CJ Stroud manager. It's been a long time since he's actually looked good. And I know a lot of the blame goes on the offensive line, but he's also part of the problem. It's not just the offensive line at this point. The offensive line is bad, but it's not just the offensive line.
No, it's tough to watch them play. The entire offense just looks difficult.
Right. It's every yard is such a fight for them. The thing about Stroud is he looks like he did for most of his college career outside of the playoff run.
Yep.
And his rookie season, he looked like he did on his playoff run. And now he's kind of reverted back to the rest of his college career, CJ Stroud.
Well, hopefully they could figure the line out and at least get things running a little bit smoother. But I don't know that it's happening anytime soon with the collection they have there.
Yeah, it's not great. It's definitely a problem. It's often hard to separate quarterback from line play when it's really bad.
Yeah.
But I mean, even the opportunities where he's had protection and the protection's held up, it could just be that he's shell shocked at this point. He's taken so many hits that he's rushing throws and he's suddenly very inaccurate. So yeah, we'll see. It's not promising.
Oh, it looks like Criddle's going to get Waller back soon.
I'll believe it when I see it.
All right. Well, that wraps up the matchups. Entertaining week. We had two matchups within a point of each other. That's fun times.
Yeah, a lot of close matchups.
We're going to move now to everyone's favorite segment, the Dynasty Daddy playoff prediction odds. How do I say this differently every week? Honestly,
Yeah. That's my favorite part. You call it something different every single week.
Yeah. Percentage chance to make the playoffs. Here we go.
Yeah.
We have some developments this week. We have
A little
two
bit of
six.
separation.
Yeah, we had some. This is interesting. We've talked about how in the past everything was running right down to the wire, and we had, people striving to make the playoffs till the last, gasp of their dying breath. But this year we've had some very quick stratification here. At the top, we have Big and Mel, who are both 6-0, with Dynasty Daddy listing them as a greater than 99% chance to make the playoffs. Haven't seen that one pop up until like week 15 before. Greater than 99%. They're basically guaranteed to make the playoffs at this point.
Well, that's because we're going to get to the other half of the league.
Yeah, we'll get there. So after those two at 6-0, we have my team at 5-1 and your team at 5-1. I'm listed at 99% chance and you're listed at 96% chance. So that's the top four right there. After that, we have Georgia Mike, who's currently 3-3, is listed at an 82% chance to make the playoffs. Rug, who is currently 4-2, listed at 68% chance to make the playoffs. Flea also at 4-2 with a 35% chance to make the playoffs. And Flinch, who is currently 1-5, has a 14% chance to make the playoffs, according to this. So even after that, top, tier with the 5-1 and 6-0, Georgia Mike at 82 and Rug at 68. And those are pretty high percentage chances right there for this stage of the game.
Yeah, I think that probably has something to do with 5 teams that are either 1-6 or 0-5.
Yeah. So speaking of those teams, let's get everything out of the way here. At 1-5 is JMC with a 3% chance. At 1-5 is Criddle with a 2% chance. And then Judd and Mr. Good News, both 0-6. Judd at 1%, Mr. Good News at less than 1%.
Yeah, some clear haves and have-nots right now in this league. This looks like 7 teams for a 6-team playoffs race, and 5 teams that are already falling dangerously far behind, considering we're only 3 weeks into the season. Yeah. I was not expecting this much separation this quickly.
No, it is strange to see it happen. It's partially also, I think, a product of what teams have played what other teams. Like if some of the middling to lower teams had matchups against the top teams to start, they were going to start poorly, and maybe they'll start playing each other and some of them will, bump up, because obviously we're not going to finish the year with 2 teams that don't have any wins. One of them has to get a win at some point.
Right. We'll see this even out a little bit, but yeah, some of these teams are very worrying looking at their rosters and looking at their week to week matchups. Don't see a lot of hope for turnarounds on some of these rosters.
No, but that could provide opportunity for some of the other ones. Like if one of these guys decides to try and solidify some of these pieces and, goes and says, hey, I'm willing to trade my 2nd round pick. It's, going to be a better 2nd round pick than, Mel's, and, will you give me a little bit more for it? And, maybe they can get some better deals done.
Yeah, we'll see. I wonder when these teams will start to decide that maybe this year is not going to happen, and they may start seeing some teams selling here pretty quickly. We thought it was going to take a few weeks before teams kind of accepted their identities.
Yeah.
Might happen faster than I thought looking at these standings.
And we talked about it a bit when we were talking about Judd's team earlier. It's also a matter of who wants to sell and who doesn't want to sell, because even if this isn't your year, if you're sitting there on your own picks, you can just say, well, I'll just sit and draft. I don't have to sell pieces if I don't want to, because I want to be competitive next year. Not everybody, like we saw teams bottoming out last year and the year before to pick up all these pieces. It's not the only way to rebuild your team.
Right. But I think every roster has players that are probably not
Sure.
in the plans for next year that
That's
you can
fair.
trade, even if it's for marginal picks like Mr. Good News has been doing. Guys that we've seen traded Turpin in Washington and the week before, Zacchaeus and Juju. These are guys that contending teams will buy. You pick up a few lottery ticket picks for guys that are not necessarily key pieces going forward. Even small trades like that can change the balance. Looks like it's going to be very tight at the top and also very tight at the bottom.
Yeah. This is a very interesting start to the season. One that I don't think we've seen any season begin quite this drastically before.
No, this was very quickly turned into haves and have-nots, something we haven't seen this quickly in the history of the league.
All right. Well, it was a fun week. Next week, we lead off the show with my matchup against Al, no matter how many points we score or don't score. All right. Well, we will catch everybody next week. But until then,
See you in league chat.